beautiful Pacific Ocean just off the coast of sunny Southern California. We welcome you to the Mecca of American volleyball, Manhattan Beach, California. We are set and ready for the most important beach volleyball tournament of the year. Today it's the 10th stop on the AVP Nissan Series, the Manhattan Beach Open, presented by Bud Light. We have standing room only on center court, ready for our men's championship final. Let's go down to Chris McGee for the introductions. Chris.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The kids from Florida with the name on the pier on the line to be in the history books forever. You young man went to Florida State University. You are the Greyhound. You have a 31 rating in Halo 2. You're playing the best volleyball of your life. You're the dig leader. Say hello to Nick Lucena. Ladies and gentlemen, from Central Florida, a 30 rating on Halo 2. One of the best blockers in the entire world. Ladies and gentlemen, say hello to the mantis, the thin beast, Phil Dalhausser. And here we go, the #1 team on tour, the 2004 most improved player, and now playing the best he has ever played. The kid out of Bountiful, Utah, the youngest of 11. He is big, he is smooth, and he is nasty. You, my friend, are Jake Spiker Gibb. And his partner from Honolulu, Hawaii, one of the great winners of all time, Perennial High School, UCLA, 3 national champions, a 2004 Olympian, and an MVP season, Stein Metzger.
Time now for our Aquafina strategy session, put together by the legendary Karch Karai. What about Phil Dalhausser, Nick Lucena? What do they have to do?
Well, Nick Lucena is not even close to the tallest player on the tour, one of the shorter ones, but he plays best when he hits really with a lot of fire and consistency. He doesn't use his shots. And Dalhausser is a huge blocker at the net. He needs to neutralize Jake Gibb's blocking. For Gibb and Metzger, of course, they're playing their 3rd match in 4 hours. They have played about 4 times the duration of play today as their opponents. They're going to have to, the conditioning is going to have to come into play. And of course, Jake Gibb has to continue to patrol at the net as he has in the previous 2 matches this morning.
Gibb and Metzger, 2 hours and 40 minutes about. Dalhausser-Lucena breezed in their crossover semifinal. The best 2 out of 3 game match for the championship here in Manhattan. Nick Lucena serving first. Lucena with a dig. Metzger digs back. And into the net. Nick Lucena, he's 25 years old. His hometown, Davie, Florida. He's 6'2". He played at Florida State. He recently, a year ago, grew another inch, believe it or not. 1 career win in Austin, Texas. He's fiery. He's gotten into it with Metzger before, too, so we'll look for some fireworks if those two tangle. Nice dig, Metzger. And Metzger with the left hand down the line. Lucena's partner, Phil Dalhausser, calls Ormond Beach, Florida his home. He's 6'9". He's the biggest player on tour. And if you're wondering, no Florida team has ever won Manhattan. In fact, till recently, no Florida team had ever won anything. Lucena and Dalhausser hope to change that today.
Yes, they do. And as you mentioned before, Chris, they had an incredibly exciting final in Austin, Texas. Lucena and Dalhausser had been down 16-15 and scored the next 3 points to win 18-16 against this great Metzger and Gibb team. So they're going to try and win it more decisively as they did when they played each other yesterday in the semifinals of the winner's bracket.
Dalhausser, his serve is just long. Jake Gibb, born in 1976. He's 29 years old in a place called Bountiful, Utah. He went to the University of Utah, not exactly a volleyball powerhouse. He was a basketball player, a golfer growing up. Didn't play volleyball till he was 21 years old. But he's a very, very good blocker. His middle name is Spiker, like an attacker, but he's a much better blocker.
Well, I think he's been spiking.
He has been spiking, okay.
Been tremendous this whole year, and that's one of the reasons why they have been the top team on the tour. In fact, even though Jake Gibb is the taller player, he gets more of the serves. The other teams try to put more pressure on him, try to tire him out as he's blocking by serving him and making him do most of the offense.
4-1 our score. Lucena tips it out of bounds. Now, you might be saying, well, Metzger and Gibb played 2 hours and 40 minutes, but they're a little bit looser than Dalhausser and Lucena, who had to wait all that time for that match to end.
And another thing is we're seeing it's very sunny conditions now, but earlier during those 2 hours and 40 minutes, it was overcast, so they got a break in that sense, and it wasn't as tough as it might have looked under these present weather conditions.
Lucena gets virtually all the serves here, and he smacks it through.
And Nick Lucena doing a great job there of challenging the block, hitting hard, even though he's only 6'2". He needs to do that to play his best, hitting the hard, sharp angle here.
We're underway here in Manhattan Beach, our men's championship final. Gibb and Metzger leading 5-2.
Welcome back to the 2005 AVP Nissan Championship Series, the Manhattan Beach Open, presented by Bud Light. The men's finals taking place on center court.
And Phil Dalhausser gets the roof at 6'9", long arms. That about did it.
Now, both Gibb and Dalhausser talked about it before this match, that Gibb has to try to avoid challenging Dalhausser high. He can get away with that against almost any other blocker, but not against Dalhausser. Mistake by Gibb there.
Lucena back to Gibb. So you recommend hit off his hands or maybe try to sizzle his pits a little?
Exactly. In fact, Gibb mentioned it right before the match. He's going to try to sizzle his pits more. He's going to try to cuff the ball and hit sharper angles and stay away from hitting really high, because Dalhausser takes that best as a blocker.
Metzger and Gibb leading 6-3 here in game 1. Cut shot. And the put away for Dalhausser. Number 1 seeded team has not won in nearly 2 years. 9 tournaments this season. Gibb and Metzger in Austin, they were the top seed. They finished 2nd.
But by the slimmest of margins to this great Dalhausser and Lucena team.
Dalhausser will serve. Over the top, and Lucena can't get there. So Jake Gibb, the youngest of 11 children, as you may have heard in the Open, did not play college volleyball. A late bloomer, has come onto the beach, and picking up Stein Metzger this year has elevated them to the number 1 team on tour.
And in fact, he had some people scratching their heads when he was the 2nd best team on the tour last year with Adam Jewell, but decided to make the change anyway. And nobody's scratching their head anymore after a block like that, and after the performances that both Metzger and Gibb have put together this season.
Lots of times you hear people say that a small player can't win on the AVP Tour. Well, today's our chance to see whether Nick Lucena can handle the block of Jake Gibb. Can he put the ball down on attack, or what used to be a side out? We'll see. Dalhausser shank, and it's another point. So Gibb and Metzger off to a great start. They lead 9-4.
And they both talked about it, that their concentration today, one of the focal points has been to try to serve tougher than their opponents. And there's an example of Jake Gibb trying to serve tougher. It puts more pressure on him physically, because he's jumping hard to hit the serve and then jumping hard, running up to the net and jumping hard again to block. So when he's serving, he's jumping hard twice on every play.
Lucena, and Lucena wraps one hard. Off the top hand, so the kill to Nick Lucena, our Nissan point leaders at the moment. Gibb and Metzger, Holdren and Nygaard. Looks like it's going to be a 2-team shootout.
Yes, it is. And Dax Holdren and Jeff Nygaard suffering a disappointing semifinal loss to the team of Metzger and Gibb. They could have passed them up by making the final this weekend. and having it all come down to the last 2 tournaments of the year.
Ryan Lambert, the Nissan points winners a year ago. That serve out of bounds. It's 10-5. You know, interestingly, for the first time in the history of the Manhattan Open, no California native is in the final. Stein Metzger from Hawaii, Gibb from Utah, Lucena from Florida, Dalhausser from Florida. An unusual final. Lucena.
And we're also guaranteed of at least one first-time Manhattan Beach Open winner. Manhattan Beach thought of by anybody who knows anything about volleyball, about beach volleyball, as the Wimbledon, the granddaddy of them all.
That note, the first time in the history, no California native in the final. That passed along courtesy of Dig Magazine on the spot covering volleyball today. Here's Phil Dalhausser, 10-6. Dalhausser and Lucena trying to get warmed up quickly. Whoa! Whoa! Dalhausser at 6'9". He was up, boy, I'd say about 11.5 feet on that one.
Well, that shot's going to go against just about anybody, but not a 6'9" Dalhausser who used to not be able to dunk a basketball when he was younger in high school. And then all of a sudden the hops started coming once he started playing beach volleyball, and now he can do them all, the 360 whirly bird and without an approach.
They call him the biggest man in the history of pro beach volleyball, although Wilt Chamberlain, who dabbled in volleyball, would quibble with that. But I think besides Wilt, Dalhausser is there. And there he goes again. 3 blocks for Dalhausser, and suddenly they're back in it.
This is exactly what Lucena and Dalhausser need. Is Dalhausser, once he's patrolling at the net like this, and watch him reach to his right at the last second, luring Stein Metzger into thinking the line shot was open. And now we see from this angle what a great blocker he is. When you get your hands across the net like that, reaching across, that is the best thing you can do as a blocker, is penetrate the net. Not go high necessarily, but as far across for as long a time as you can.
Lucena from Florida State, Dalhausser from Central Florida. Another good serve. Trouble, yes! Phil Dalhausser, and now it's 10-9.
And Dalhausser and Lucena just recently started working with the new coach, one of the all-time greats in beach volleyball, Jim Menges, and they said they have been down at the side changes in every game of this tournament, but he's given them the confidence to be able to come back, and they're running a great streak right now.
Menges, a 5-time Manhattan Open winner with 4 different partners. 48 Open wins, one of the greats.
They said that they used to have a lot of trouble coming back. They would give up quickly, but he's been firing them up and giving them the confidence to come back from any situation.
The Manhattan Beach Open men's finals will continue in a moment on FSN.
All right, you're right back in the thick of it, bro. Right back in the thick of it. Get jacked up. Hey, make sure you pass forward, because when you're way back, you lose the court, and it's a hard ball for you to hit. So he's reading you on that. Make sure you pass that ball forward. Both you guys, pass that ball forward.
Jim Menges, the coach for Nick Lucena and Phil Dalhausser, he is wired up. Jim, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Strategy coming into this game, was it to serve Jake Gibb?
Yes, and have our Phil go after him, because Phil matches up. He can take away his high stuff.
Are you worried about the way Lucena has started off in terms of attack or side out?
Absolutely. He's got to pass the ball forward, because he loses the court when he gets past his half court. If he starts getting hot and starts passing forward, we're going to win this match. There's a dig. Hammer!
Jim, this is Coach. You were talking about how Nick plays his best when he has good offense going. What do you try to do to get him to be stronger on offense after a little bit of a slow start?
You got to get him to pass forward so he gets a set, so he sees the court, and then he's got to attack. He's got to attack the ball and hit. That's what he needs to do. It gets him jacked up for all parts of the game.
All right, thank you very much, Jim. We'll get back to you. Jim Menges, the for Nick Lucena and Phil Dalhausser. Lucena and Dalhausser were trailing at 1.9 to 4.
Phil Dalhausser, corner shot, got it.
Phil Dalhausser, Nick Lucena making a run here. They trail by just 1. Nick Lucena, the smaller of the 2. At one point they were down 9-4. They've come all the way back, and now it's 12-10. What's turned things around?
The blocking of Phil Dalhausser, who is such a huge presence at the net, putting the clamps on Jake Gibb, and that's not going to happen very often to the #1 blocker on the tour himself, Jake Gibb. And the fact that they've been the #1 team, part of it is his strong offense.
Stein Metzger at 32, the 2004 Olympian. Lucena. Lucena's got some heat. In 2003, this team was playing in qualifiers. Last year, they really came of age. They got a third and really started to make people notice.
And that third that you mentioned was at Hermosa Beach last year. They had a huge run. They beat the #1 team on the tour last year, Lambert and Curie, and then they came back through and beat both of our Olympic representatives going into Athens. They beat Metzger, Stein Metzger, and Dax Holdren, and they also beat Dane Blanton and Jeff Nygaard.
On 2 goes Stein Metzger.
Which wasn't a great sign for us at the Olympics necessarily, to have a former qualifier team go buzz through both the Olympic representatives there.
15-11, Jimmy.
Stein Metzger unleashing on that one. That's a play that they will run, especially when Dalhausser is serving and doesn't have enough time to get to the net to defend both the hit on 2 by Stein Metzger and the hit on the third contact by Jake Gibb.
The fastest hit speed of the day for Stein Metzger as Lucena cranks one up.
Lucena seems to be doing a better job. He says he just closes his eyes and rips away, but he's feeling it now, and he needs to have, Jim Menges, their coach, has talked about it, when he is on offensively, he plays so much better on defense and chases down the shots better.
Gibb chops it. Dalhausser and Lucena thought there might have been a ball handling error there.
That's one of the amazing things about Dalhausser. He's so big and such a good blocker, but he has such a nice setting touch. That makes him prime target for any player that wants to play with him. Dalhausser is going to get a lot of setting opportunities. Being such a great blocker, he's going to have his partner's going to be getting up a lot of digs behind him, and he's going to need to set those balls close.
And the missed serve costs a point. This is game 1. The best 2 out of 3. Metzger and Gibb ahead by a point. Now Phil Dalhausser, who likes to listen to Led Zeppelin and eat steak and baked potato. My kind of guy. And that one squeaks through.
Especially the 48-ounce Whale Brady cut, right? This is exactly what Jake Gibb talked about, wanting to cuff the ball past the block. Sorry.
Bud Light tournament recap. Curie and Lambert struggled a bit here in Manhattan. They took a 5th. They got beat by Sean Rosenthal and Larry Witt. Rosie and Witt, however, inconsistent. They got knocked out by Dalhausser and Lucena. Rosie Witt finishing 3rd. The other 3rd place went to Dax Holder and Jeff Nygaard. They've been in the mix all season long. They had 4 championship points in the semifinal. They were right there with blocking by Nygaard, but they could not bring it home. Holder and Nygaard. Rosie Witt finished 3rd. Roger Scott, Curie, Lambert in 5th. 15-13 our score, and the serve out of bounds for Jake Gibb.
Metzger and Gibb talked about it before this match, wanting to serve tougher and put pressure on their opponents. So far, they've been unsuccessful with a couple of misses at least, and not too many bad passes from Lucena and Dalhausser.
If there's a good side, Lucena and Dalhausser are on it, on the south side of the beach, into the wind a bit. Gibb, and it's on the line. Nice shot by Jake Gibb.
That's one of the ways that you can take Dalhausser out of the game, is by looping softer shots and avoiding his big block, even though those shots have to go higher because Dalhausser is so big. If anybody has a chance to get those, it's Lucena because of that arc.
16-14 Metzger. And the poke. Nice up, Gibb. Dalhausser with the dig. The big fella puts it away. Big Phil with the dig.
Boy, that's something you don't see. I haven't even seen him dig a ball all year because he's up at the net blocking. But for the one time this year, Lucena is stuck at the net. Dalhausser comes up with a Lucena-like defensive play. What a save. And one of the things Dalhausser does so well, even though that set was 6 or 7 feet off the net, he can hit the sharpest angles, he can hit deep middle, and it's really hard to defend all 3 of those shots.
Dalhausser putting up some numbers early here in game 1.
And right, back to line.
And cutting back to the line is Gibb.
Nice adjustment by Jake Gibb there. That set drifted off the net about 5 feet. But he listened to his partner, Stein Metzger, calling, you got line open, and he hit the line, slipped it past Dalhausser.
17-15 now. Gibb and Metzger up by 2. Lucena blocked. Boy, Gibb, he had 8 blocks in the crossover semifinal. He's already got 3 here in the final.
That time taking one of Lucena's favorite shots there. That's the hard angle hit. Jake Gibb reaching way to his right, leaving the line open. Metzger was running around to get the line, but didn't need to on that play.
These 2 teams have played 6 times this year. Dalhausser-Lucena have won 4 of them. And off Gibb. Did it hit Lucena? Gibb saying it did. Lucena lost his hat, and Gibb will talk to Dan Apol. Let's listen.
We have ourselves a situation. We can always check the demo screen.
They're arguing that the hat got knocked off by the ball as it bounced off the block. They're claiming that it hit Lucena on the way out of bounds.
You're right, it's all below. Change it. We're not going to change it. Let's go change it. Come on.
Take a look. Does it hit the black hat on the way out? Ooh. Might have clipped it. Might have clipped it.
And if it contacts the hat, Chris, that's part of your body. When it's on your head, that counts as a touch. Just as if that hat fell off and it would hit the net, that would be a net, also an illegal play.
18-16 is the score. And play will continue. So maybe Jake Gibb had a point there. And Lucena will serve. Lucena on the left. Hammering home.
That time, Gibb wasn't able to listen to Metzger. Metzger gave him the angle call, but he hit the line instead.
The Manhattan Beach Open men's finals will continue in a moment on FSN.
Lots of surfing action here in Manhattan Beach, California, one of the most beautiful beaches in the entire world. Stein Metzger, the 2004 Olympian, he has 6 career wins. Won 3 national championships at UCLA. Metzger, one of the avid surfers on the AVP tour. Member of the Surf Rider Foundation. Who's the best surfer on the AVP tour?
Well, I asked Mike Lambert that because he's an avid one too, and he says Stein Metzger. Growing up in Hawaii, how can you not learn to surf?
Now Metzger to serve. Lucena. Why can he hit the ball so hard, Garch?
I'm just thinking to myself, it's amazing that he's only 6'2", can hit that hard, hit that deep angle. Stein Metzger gets his hands on a lot of balls, but most of those hard hits, Stein's not even touching. Right past the block of Gibb there.
And his hit speed at 47 miles per hour. Remember, that's coming from 5 feet away. Off Dalhausser. And Gibb playing his best volleyball this weekend.
And that high hit is the one that Jake was saying he might have to avoid because Dalhausser takes it so well. But now they're at game point, 20-18.
First chance for a game 1 win. Gibb. Dalhausser gets a chance to spike, and he puts it away.
One of the rare chances that he gets in any given tournament. With such a height discrepancy between the two players, Lucena is forced to do almost all the offense.
Second chance for game point. (20-19), Metzger-Gibb lead. Metzger for the win. He's got it. Game one over.
Smart decision by Dalhausser and Lucena there to mix it up. Metzger hadn't gotten to serve all game, but slices it just past Dalhausser. Dalhausser really frustrated with himself for letting that ball get past him to his right.
More beach volleyball action in a moment. You're watching the Nissan Championship Series, the Manhattan Beach Open on FSN. Welcome back to the 2005 AVP Nissan Championship Series, the Manhattan Beach Open, presented by Bud Light. The men's finals taking place on center court.
Start of game two, Lucena and Dalhausser got off to a horrid start in game one. They came out, they weren't loosened up perhaps properly. They got behind 9-4, caught up to 12-11, but then Metzger and Gibb holding on to a 21-19.
But they can take comfort in the fact that from 9-4, they had scored far more points the rest of the game. So if they keep it close and play like that, they should be much better off in game two.
Gibb and Metzger, the top-ranked team, at least the #1 seeded team. Gibb and Metzger, Dalhausser and Lucena, the 5th seeded team this week. Here's Gibb. And Lucena misses one.
One of the things Jim Menges, the coach for Dalhausser and Lucena, was talking about earlier in the match is he wants Nick Lucena to pass that ball when it comes off the serve, pass it closer to the net. He will be able to see the blocker and the defender much better out of his peripheral vision. Let's see if he passes this closer. About 6 feet off.
2-1.
That one worked a lot better. When he passes close, the set's coming from in front of him more.
Very nice down to the right side. Score time 12-22.
Angle. That's it.
Gibb chopping through. Been very solid offensively.
That's one advantage that Metzger and Gibb have, is not only are they great hard hitters, but they have all the shots. That's one thing that even Menges, Lucena and Dalhausser's coach, says they can work on, is improving their shots. They are great hard hitters, but they can improve their soft game, their touch game a little bit.
Nice dig by Stein Metzger. And he puts it away. That's old school volleyball.
What great control on that dig. Such a hard hit, you think it might bounce into the stands, but no, it goes perfectly to Gibb. And this is one of Stein Metzger's favorite hits. When he gets off the net a little, he hits it at or around the dropping off blocker, right down the line.
Good placement by Metzger. Only his 4th kill, but a big one. 4-2. And Lucena calling for a touch. I don't think so. Looks like he bounced it. That's one of the problems. If you are 6'2", there's not much room for error, not much margin. Lucena and Dalhausser in trouble, down 1-0 and 5-2. Back in Manhattan Beach, California, the AVP Nissan Series continuing. We've got a capacity-only crowd for our men's championship final. Metzger-Gibb winning game one, but Nick Lucena and Phil Dalhausser coming on. Lucena starting to get into it, starting to dig, starting to hit.
Yes, he is. In fact, his coach, Jim Menges, says he is best when he's hitting hard. He doesn't care if he gets blocked 3, 4, 5 times in a row, but he's not getting blocked here. And of course, one of his trademarks is great defense and finishing it with heat.
Lucena, a star soccer player in high school. The story goes that he missed a penalty kick that would have given his soccer team the Florida State Championship, and it was the worst day of his life, according to him. He said that was the last thing I wanted to do with soccer. After that, he took up volleyball.
Right now, Lucena is on the right of your screen, the right side of the net, and the wind is coming kind of at his back at a diagonal. He's been struggling much better on that side offensively. He really needs to pick it up here to keep them in the match.
9-6. That sets a little back, and Metzger's right there. And Dalhauser and Lucena look defeated right now. They're down by 4, and they have some bad body language. Timeout call by Phil Dalhausser and Nick Lucena. All right, we have a moment. Let's go down to the sand. Heather Cox, a report on Stein Metzger. Heather.
Well, when Stein Metzger was just 3 years old, he'd walk up hills and his lips and nails would turn blue. He was actually diagnosed with a hole in between his ventricles. Extensive heart surgery patched the hole, but athletics were basically all but ruled out. Then when Stein was in 11th grade, he decided he wanted to play volleyball, but the doctors all said no. Now, to make the decision even more heart-wrenching, the Metzgers had already lost 2 young sons to disease, but ultimately the Metzgers left the decision up to Stein, and he was adamant. He found a specialist who eased the concern about his wrists, and he decided to play. Now Stein has had no ill effects since, but you can see the physical effects, still an 8-inch scar in between down the middle of his chest, guys.
And in fact, Stein has talked about that before. He said, you know, some people maybe drink a couple of beers and drive, or drive a little too fast on the freeway. He feels that they're taking just as much of a risk as he is, of like a 1 or 2% chance of anything going wrong in the heat of stressing his heart in athletic competition.
Metzger has played great today. Lucena dug again. Stein Metzger. And down the line. So Metzger misses an easy one there. That would have made it 11-6. Holly McPeak and her partner Jen Kessie, who played so well here in semifinal action yesterday, they finishing 3rd.
Pushing Walsh and May to the limit.
Metzger with the poke.
On an inside set, that's something that defenders always have to watch from Stein Metzger, is him breaking out what we call the pokey shot off of his knuckles, usually 2 or 3 knuckles. When it's that inside, he has about 10 feet to go to his right, to his left to hit that.
Stein Metzger won Manhattan in 2001 with his then partner Kevin Wong. So he's won before here at Manhattan. Jake Gibb has it, and Lucena hits another one out. Boy, he is having some problems. His 10th error of the day.
12-37.
Lucena. Gibb has got it. Dalhauser over the top, and we've got a collision, and I think Gibb was into the net. So Dalhauser, Lucena, they're on life support right now. They're trailing 12-8 in game 2 after losing the first.
They switched at 8-6, and they needed to do much better than that on this side of the court. Really, to get any hope of winning, they're going to have to score this point and then go to the stronger side for Lucena on offense, crossing the net. The players switch every 7 points to adjust for the wind.
Gibb. Lucena is there. That's right up Dalhauser's alley. Metzger got it.
Boy, things are really not going well when Dalhauser can't win on that overpass. When Gibb controls that one, that is bad news for Dalhauser and Lucena. What a set there by Jake Gibb.
Stein Metzger starting to feel it.
Welcome back to the AVP Men's Finals of the Manhattan Beach Open. Let's pick up the action a little later in Game 2.
Lucena and Dalhausser are going to need a miracle. We may need to call Al Michaels to have him come down and resuscitate the kids from Florida. They are being beaten handily. Lucena, and he puts it away. Do you agree with Casey Jennings' assessment that Lucena needs to move the ball around a little more, do some shots, and mix things up?
Lucena's coach disagrees. He likes Lucena to play really aggressively, but a shot once in a while just to keep him off balance a little might be smart, especially with Jake Gibb racking up the blocks. It's good to try and take him out of the game just a little bit.
Phil Dalhausser set to serve. Time running out, and the serve into the net.
Dalhausser feeling like he has to do something special here, force the play, cause an ace or a really bad pass just for them to have a chance to make a miracle comeback now.
Metzger with the serve. And Lucena pops one through. Dalhausser has not had a block since the middle of Game 1. He's got 3 total. They've been unable to stop Gibb or Metzger. So now Lucena will serve 16-10. Metzger and Gibb closing in.
And Lucena hitting this shot so sharply, Gibb was thinking to himself, no way he's going to try and hit that. I just blocked him 3 times in a row, but he still pulled it off.
Dalhausser into the net.
And we've seen 2 plays now where Dalhausser feels like he's carrying more of the load, wants to make something extra happen. The serve into the net, and now trying so hard to get that block. First one since the middle of Game 2, as you mentioned, that he netted.
The adrenaline starting to pump through the body of Jake Gibb. It's every little boy's dream in beach volleyball or any kind of volleyball to win at Manhattan, and he has a chance. Stein has already won here. He did it in 2001, but Jake Gibb, this will be the biggest win of his career if he can pull it off. And he's going to get another point. A collision under the net. Jake Gibb and Stein Metzger getting closer and closer.
And Dalhausser on this play trying almost too hard, as we saw before with the serve and the block. Now he's trying to give his partner the perfect set, just trying to do anything he can to keep them going, get his partner better on offense, and that one went too far over. That's a mismatch. 6-7 against 6-2.
Jeff Alzina is main man is Stein Metzger. Let's show you Stein Metzger, what he's been able to do today. He's been amazing.
And it's not just today, but it's all season long, playing great defense, the #1 digger on tour. But the one thing a digger has to do is finish with authority, and that's how they ended Game 1. Metzger plays his best when he's fiery also, just like Nick Lucena. But he gets his partner going, and they have going for their 4th win on tour this year.
Coach Jeff Alzina, the coach for Metzger and Gibb. Jeff, what's been the key to the good play today?
Well, luckily Nick's not doing a lot of different things. He's just swinging at us every time, and Jake's had a really good read on him. He's got both hands well over the net, penetrating. We got some big blocks, which is kind of a momentum killer for them.
Jeff, you guys were talking about serving really tough coming into this match. It didn't seem like they needed it that much with Jake's blocking.
Yeah, I mean, we've been serving really well lately, last few weeks, and that's been getting us a lot of points, but when you got a blocker like Jake, keep it in.
All right, Jeff, thank you very much. Jake Gibb and Stein Metzger just points away now. They lead 19-10. Jake Gibb trying to win his first Manhattan Beach Open ever. Stein Metzger, #2. Gibb. And Lucena hits another one out. 14 errors for Nick Lucena, and now.
Boy, Chris, we have seen this numerous times today from this upwind north side, trying to hit the angle, and it's gone out of bounds by an inch, 2 inches, 2 feet, 3 feet. All those hitting errors have really cost Lucena and Dalhausser.
The #1 seeded team on the AVP Tour. It's been almost 2 years since a top seeded team has won. And it looks like today that streak is going to be over as Jake Gibb and Stein Metzger have championship point here in Manhattan. They lead 20-10. This could be it right now. Gibb will serve it. Crowd is up. Lucena out of bounds, and Metzger and Gibb have won here in Manhattan.
I love you, bud. I love you.
More beach volleyball action in a moment. You're watching the Nissan Championship Series, the Manhattan Beach Open on FSN.
Let's take a look at match point one more time. A dominating performance for Jake Gibb and Stein Metzger. Gibb was unbelievable at the net. Metzger terrific on defense. In the end, too many errors by Lucena and Dalhausser. And yes, Gibb and Metzger champions at Manhattan together for the first time ever. Now our Xbox play of the match. Nearing the end of game one, Karchkarai, this was a key play.
Yes, it was, Chris. And the fact that Stein Metzger all season long has been making plays like this, one of his favorite things is not only does he make the great defensive play, but he finishes it for the point.
For the Gatorade interview, let's go down to the sand and Heather Cox.
Jake and Stein with the most coveted title in beach volleyball. Jake, now your name will forever be on that Manhattan pier. Is this a dream come true?
It is. It's a little surreal right now. I don't even know how to act. It's unbelievable. I'm so happy to share it with Stein, who's become a really good friend of mine, and my wife is here, Jane, so I'm so stoked right now.
And Stein, this is your second Manhattan Open. You will get another bronze volleyball now. Does the aura and mystique ever wear off, though?
It really doesn't, and you know, this one is really special for me because I've created such a nice relationship with Jake, and he's just a pleasure to play with. And our coach, Jeff Alzina, has been with us all year and working really hard. And this is the last tournament he's going to be joining us this year, so it's really special to end with him on this tournament, and we are just stoked right now. And so it's nice to be able to just serve in and cheer and watch the big guy go after it and score points.
Congrats on the huge win. This is their 4th win of the season, but something tells me this one's pretty special, guys.
The opportunity of a lifetime turned into a nightmare for Nick Lucena and Phil Dalhausser as Stein Metzger and Jake Gibb put their foot on the pedal and never let up, winning easily in 2 straight games. For Heather Cox and Karchkarai, I'm Mike Dodd, signing off from the granddaddy of them all, the Manhattan Open.